Sweet surrender as I love, serve, and remember.
Good morning, good morning. Here we are on this sunny morning. Yes, sunny. The sun is up there, she's just letting the clouds take precedence today, and the rain, and watering all the trees and the plants and Mother Earth herself. So I'm very happy to be here while Reverend Harriet is on sabbatical. And what showed up for me today, the title that showed up for me when she and I were talking about it was, Who am I to say no? Who am I to say no? Who are you to say no? Who are we to say no? And I'd like to start out in the way I always start out, with a little giggle, because for me sometimes my enlightenment process can be very serious. Did I do my meditation? Did I do my journaling? Did I do my visioning? And I realized that, well, yes, that's great, and seriousness is wonderful, but there's that other side of spirit, the humorous side of spirit. I mean, I'm sure you have in your life, maybe you don't, but I've had in my life where something pops into my life and I say, oh, spirit, you have a sense of humor. So I'd like to just start us out with a little giggle. So there were two young people, we'll just call them two little girls. There were two little girls who were going to church with their mother, and these two little girls were known to be rambunctious and wild and zany and crazy and just out there. Okay, so they go to church with their mother, and the minister of the church says to them, they're in Sunday school, and after Sunday school, between the Sunday school and the regular service, that little space in there, the minister says, I'd like to speak to you girls. However, I'd like to speak to you one at a time. Okay, so they say, ask their mother, and their mother says, yeah, that's okay. So they go, one goes in, and the minister says, where is God? And the little girl says, and then the minister says again, where is God? And the little girl says again, I really was listening in Sunday school, but could I go out and talk to my mom about it? So the minister says, sure. So this one goes out, and the other one comes in. And then the other one comes in. The minister says the same thing to this one. Where is God? Same thing. She says, well, because she's trying to be respectful, and she knows to be respectful to adults, and she's not really clear what to say. And so she also says, could I go out and speak to my mom about it? And the minister says, yes, absolutely. So she goes out. So there are the two children out there now, and their mother is out there in the vestibule also, or the foyer. And before they go, the second one goes to speak to the mother, she goes to her sister and says, listen, we need to get out of here. God is missing, and they think we did it. Oh, yeah, just a little giggle. Isn't that fun and crazy and wonderful? So as we go on here about who am I to say no? Who am I to say no? One of the things that I know about the life of spirit that lives itself in, through, and as each one of us, we are meant to thrive. We are built for thriving and flourishing and prospering and abundancing, even though that may not be a verb, but we are meant for this. So I was thinking about, so what does it mean to thrive? Because we all might have different ideas about thriving. It could be all sorts of things. However, the dictionary thinks it means to grow or develop, to flourish, and my part, to be unlimited beings. To grow, develop, flourish, and be unlimited beings, which we really are. We are truly the infinite expression of the divine. You know, we talk about mental equivalence sometimes in Science of Mind, New Age philosophies, ageless wisdom, and we are really the mental equivalent of the divine. You know, as Ernest Holmes says, God can only do for us what God can do through us. Yeah, and each one of us, we are a compendium of abundance and prosperity and thriving and just being those things that we are. Each one of us, we come pre-programmed in lavish supply, source, abundance, and God-given wealth. Just take a minute, close your outer eyes, and think about that. You, I, we have come pre-programmed. How does it feel? Yeah, it's a feeling that can be normal and natural to us. It can also be that feeling that, whoa, this is big. And when we get that feeling of, whoa, this might be beyond my human capacity, is because our human capacity is not the only capacity that we are. We are spirit incarnate. We are the capacity of the divine, walking around in these gorgeous, svelte, muscular young bodies. We are. That's what each one of us is. And just like it said in the reading, thank you, Jerry, for the readings, reading them so lovingly and mystically. Just like it said in the reading from Abraham Hicks, when your circuits are open to source, you must thrive. Yes, when we think about it, when our circuits are open to source, we must thrive. And another prosperity teacher who I love and have read and worked with a lot is Eric Butterworth. And Eric Butterworth says, I am God's living enterprise. Yummy, 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 delectable. I am God's living enterprise. Each one of us is God's living enterprise. So I was being with this, and prosperity is my thing. Prosperity is what I'm here for. Prosperity is, Spirit has tapped me on the shoulder and said, yes, when you are incarnated here, the reason you incarnated, you made the choice. The choice you made was about prosperity and abundance and wealth and affluence. And I would like to share with you in all transparency, the only way I was clear that this was my choice was because maybe 15, 20 years ago, I got myself in some very, very deep debt. And it was deep credit card debt. I used to say, I was talking with Reverend Kathy this morning and saying that I'm retired, and I retired from being a flight attendant. And I used to say when I would go to work, oh yeah, I'm not here just to go to work. I'm here for Nordstrom's, because that's who all my money goes to. And I would say it really sarcastic, like, oh, I thought it was a cute thing to say. However, I really, really got myself at a position where, yeah, when I put on my uniform and went to the airport, it was to pay Nordies. Yeah. And the other part about that was, it was that sort of credit card debt that I had no idea what I bought. I mean, yeah, I had this pair of shoes I loved, yeah. My kids had this outfit, dress, suit, whatever. So I came to know that this prosperity teaching, prosperity mentoring, prosperity knowing, this abundanceness within, through, and as me is what I came for. And as is usually the case, Spirit brings us to the point of pain. Spirit brings us, right? You know, my mother used to say, and my grandma, Verona, who I'm named after, I think she's in the room today, I feel her. However, they used to say, you know what? God will smash you right up against the wall so that you can turn to God. You know, and for me, that's truly what happened. I truly chose to put myself in a position that that's what was going on for me. And so that's why I love, it's just, it gives me just joy beyond words to share about prosperity and to know that each one of us is God's living enterprise. I am a living, breathing witness to this, absolutely, positively. So when I was being with this, who am I to say no? The things that came to me is that we are given at the time of our birth 2 certificates. First, we are given a birth certificate, and the birth certificate, I don't know about yours, but mine is a really little one, and it says, you know, the name you were given, the date, the time, the parents. Here in the United States, it's not true everywhere else. It tells the parents' race, which I find to be interesting, and it tells pertinent things about you, the city, the state, the county. Okay, so that's how we get a birth certificate, and that's how we are known in our city or our country or our town. You know, like I am Verona, born in Des Moines, Iowa, so people know that you know, yeah, that I'm an Iowan, and this was where I was born, right smack dab in the middle of the country. However, the other thing that came to me, we get an incarnation certificate. Yeah, we get a certificate when we choose to incarnate because, as I said about myself, we each choose to incarnate. We each choose at some place in time to incarnate, and I must say I am in awe of and I give congratulations to each one of us for choosing to incarnate at this time in history, at this time on the planet, at this time of transformation and transmutation, at this time of healing and love and compassion and so much more. However, our incarnation certificate, what's that about? Our incarnation certificate is about the purity and the sacredness of our beingness. And it's just what Abraham Hicks says, it's the being you were before you came forth in this body. And so we get an incarnation certificate. And so what is the incarnation certificate made up of? The incarnation certificate is filled with the instructions and the procedure and the possibilities of the twin gems of prosperity. Twin gems of prosperity are passion and patience. Yeah, passion and patience. Can you tell I'm a little passionate about this? So I'd like to share with you a little story that has been said is to be a true story about Socrates. So the story is that a dispassionate young man came to Socrates and said, "Oh, great Socrates, I come to you for knowledge." And so Socrates took the young man, didn't say anything, took the young man down to the sea and waded in with him, and then he dunked him under the water for 30 seconds. And when he brought him up, he asked him to repeat, "What is it you want?" And the young man said, "Oh, great Socrates, I want knowledge." And so Socrates continued to dunk the young man under, over and over and over, holding the young man under a little bit longer each time. Well, by about the third or fourth time, the story says that when he brought him up, he said, "What do you want?" The young man said, "I want air." Yeah, so the thing about this, Socrates said, "Good. Now, when you want knowledge, as much as you want air, you shall have it." Yeah. And so what this brings home to me really is that when we immerse ourselves in passion and patience, we'll have it. We'll have whatever it is our heart desires, whatever it is that you write in your journal about, whatever it is that you wrote down at the beginning of the year, this is my intention for 2024, whatever it is that you may long for. You know, there's some things you may long for. I don't know what they are, but there's all sorts of things that we may long for that are about prosperity and abundance. So let's talk a little bit about passion. Passion and patience, two sides of the same coin, I believe, because they go together. If I am passionate. Reverend Kathy and I were talking about this morning. I am passionate about being a minister. I am passionate about ministering. On my way here, I live in Oakland. On my way here this morning, I was listening to some gospel music because I was raised a little Baptist girl, and sometimes I listen to a little gospel music, and I was listening to it, and it filled my heart so full. It was just, I was actually Eddie Watkins singing about, "I am just grateful, 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 grateful," and it filled my heart so full, and it's my passion. I realize it is my passion. However, it also sometimes requires patience. You know, I didn't come evolved here on the planet as a 5-year-old kid when I went to kindergarten as a minister. Even though I must share with you that I was the kid that was always ministering, so to speak. I was that kid. And also I was that kid whose parents got called. Well, I want to be transparent. I was a kid who went to elementary school in the 50s. Because they don't do this much anymore. So my parents got called in a lot because I got disciplined a lot in class by the teacher because I was always talking to other children about God. Yes, I was. And so my parents, I have wonderful, shall we say, memories of being in the principal's office and my mother or father coming in and saying, "She was talking about God again, huh?" So, I mean, this is just who I am. But anyway, so it does take passion, but it also takes patience. And when I thought about patience, I thought about the fact that patience is our timeless self. Really, it's the self within us that knows that it's already all available. It's already all possible. It's just that part of us that we get to be with and to know that it is happening in time and on time. And I thought of the story of Job. You probably know about Job in the Bible. Job was patience personified. Job had all sorts of things happening. Job had let me sure. His herds were banished. His children, some of his children were killed in a demolishing storm. He ended up with bodily sores, and his friends badmouthed him. And through it all, he had patience. Through it all, Job was in touch with his incarnation certificate. And through it all, Job was in touch with the passionate part of it with his incarnation certificate too. The passions and the passions. That's a good word, passions. I like that. The passion and the patience all together was all wrapped up in this person, Job. And you may be saying, well, Verona, that's in the Bible. That was hundreds and hundreds of years ago. I'd like to just invite you to know that the Bible is a workbook that we get to work with if we so choose, that it has all those stories in there and all the things that are in there. There is a meaning for us if we so choose to use it, just as you might use, I don't know, you might use a recipe book to cook things. Yeah, so that this story, Job, I knew about this story for a long time since I'm little, that just to know that the passion and the patience. So you're probably thinking, okay, I have passion, I have patience, I am the emanation of prosperity. How does it all fit together? Because I love it when it's like a little puzzle. I love puzzles, and I love when it all fits together as a puzzle. So this is the practical part of it that we can come to, that there are several tenets of prosperity that I have found, that have chosen themselves to come through me, that Spirit has spoken to me about them. But the four that I'm going to mention here today are faith and trust, self-love, forgiveness, and gratitude. Yeah, so faith and trust. Let's go with that one first. Faith is loyalty to unseen reality. Think about it. Faith and trust is loyalty to unseen reality, and it is abiding in the peace that goes beyond all understanding. Faith and trust. And every single one of us, we have faith and trust. When we opened our eyes this morning, we had the faith and trust that our body would get us out of bed. That's faith. When I got in my car and got on the 580 freeway this morning with the pouring rain, I knew that the faith, that I had faith within me to know that, and where I stopped my car is at CSL Livermore. I'm getting there safely, in time and on time, comfortably. So we all have faith. When you went in the bathroom this morning and picked up your toothbrush, you had faith that toothpaste was going to get your teeth clean, sparkly clean, and healthy. Yeah. So faith and trust is something that's built within us, and it's really easy to source it if we so desire. The second one, self-love. Self-love, self-love, self-love. There is no love if there is not self-love. We just finished the month of love, February, for all of us. And the thing about that I know and have learned, and we all know, that relationships only work when there is self-love. And guess what? The first relationship, the one you have with yourself, is the most important, because it's the relationship that I have, he, we, they have with Spirit. Yeah, and so self-love. Self-love can also be known as self-nurturance. Returning to oneness. Is there a time for you that you nurture yourself like you may have nurtured your children, your pets, your parents, that really, really, really you allow yourself to sink into that place of, I love you. I love you. That's self-love. And of course, when we have self-love, Spirit is listening from within us. Spirit is saying, yeah, I love you too. So two things, faith and trust, self-love. The next one is forgiveness. I like to call forgiveness the F word, because that's what it is. Forgiveness is something that gets to be our daily activity. We get to be in forgiveness every single moment of every single day. And I don't mean that you're just hunkered down, oh, I'm forgiving them, oh, I'm forgiving that. No. What I'm saying is that forgiveness, you can use forgiveness as a verb, okay? Forgiveness is what our life lesson is offering us from within. I get to forgive. And I get to forgive, guess what? Myself first. That's what forgiveness is about. And I want to make it clear before we go any farther, forgiveness is not forgetting. Forgiveness is not putting a Band-Aid over it. Forgiveness is not saying, oh, well, okay, I guess I'll accept it. No. Forgiveness is forgiveness. Forgiveness is setting it free. Forgiveness is emancipating it. Forgiveness is knowing that I have dominion over my life. No one else and no thing else has dominion over my life. So forgiveness is the third practical activity. And the last one is gratitude, 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 gratitude. Going from apathy to appreciation in everything in our life. Grateful for every eeny, beeny, single thing. Just gratitude. And you know, once we get in that attitude of gratitude, it puts us in a completely different energetic place. The vibration of our life changes. And gratitude, and I want to be clear, gratitude about the things that may not look like blessings. You know, gratitude about the things that may show up that I may think, I didn't want it that way, Spirit. Just gratitude, knowing that when things show up like that, it is the opening the door to our expansion, opening the door to our growth. It is Spirit saying from within, you, my beloved, are ready. You, my beloved, are, and this is in my humanness, Verona, am saying this, you, my beloved, are ready for the next level. And I only say that because in our humanness, we can understand, we can quantify levels, even though there is no big and small in spirit. There is none at all, and I want to make that very clear. But gratitude, you know, gratitude changes everything. Even when I have a situation or I am in a situation that doesn't look so good, gratitude can change it because it shifts our perception. An example I'd like to give you is I was helping a friend move yesterday, and I thought it would be a great idea if I made this friend what I called a ready bag, which is, you know, all the things you want after you move and you've been moving all day and it's 10 o'clock at night, you just want to fall in the bed. You want to know where your sheets are, your soap, your towels, your toothpaste, all those things. So I put them in a bag. And I put them in this really nice, fancy bag that I had from Fortnum and Mason because it meant something to me from London. And so I put it in a bag and put a bow on it. And so then I talked to the friend later. I said, well, how was it? Where did you put your ready bag? And the friend said, well, actually, while we were moving, the bottom of the ready bag fell out all over the street. Yes. And I said, well, I'm really grateful the street was there to catch it. And my friend, who knows me really well, it's a dear friend of mine, said, yes, 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 and I appreciate that these, you know. So that's what I mean by something like that, like something that I'm grateful, and it didn't appear to be something to be grateful for, besides the things to be grateful for that we know, you know, all the things. There are so many blessings that if we wrote a list just this morning, we wrote a list of the way we've been blessed since our eyes open or since I became aware that it was a new day and I'm awake now, it'd be quite a long list. And if we wrote a list of all the blessings that happened to us in just a week, it would probably wrap around the earth. I'm not sure, but I think mine would. So that's the other thing, to be grateful, to absolutely positively be in the place of gratitude, to let yourself know that it's medicine for the healing of your mind, body, and soul, and the healing of our mind, body, and soul is the healing of the planet. The healing of every single being on the planet, animals, everything that walks and jumps and slithers and hops and flies and walks and runs and everything else. It's all part of the healing. So these four things, self-love, faith and trust, forgiveness, and gratitude. You might be thinking, I like these. They're you know, there's something I can work with, and it's a part of my life. And how is it working in Reverend Verona's life? Because I don't want to be the one who's just standing up here saying things. And when I'm usually in the seats, I think, okay, so give me some facts. You know, bring it. So in my life, I was thinking about this all week long. How are those things showing up in my life? And as I was motoring here this morning, it showed up for me. And it gives me God bumps and it tears me up. How these things are showing up in my life. Self-love, gratitude, forgiveness, and trust and faith. As I alluded to when we were talking about birth certificates and incarnation certificates, I am a girl from Des Moines, Iowa. I was born at a time in the United States where there was segregation. My parents taught me, grow up, go to college, become a teacher or nurse and or a wife, And this is what you get to have. And you get to be happy about it, and you get to be grateful about it. Last month, I got an opportunity to share at a Centers for Spiritual Living conference in Nairobi, Kenya. Reverend Verona, the little girl from Des Moines, got to share my passion and patience about spirit, my passion and patience about prosperity. I got to be and bring what I came to the planet for. Thank you, and it's awesome. It is almost unbelievable, but when I scrolled through these things, first it was about self-love. This conference that I went to, I signed up for it last May. Yeah, and it was in February. And when I signed up for it, there was something within me that said, yes, you are going to the conference. Yes, you are going to the motherland, because for those of you who've been on the continent of Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, there's something about it. There is something about it. It quenched a thirst within me that I didn't know was there. So when I signed up for the conference last year, I thought, oh yeah, yes, I'm going to the conference. Yes, it's in Nairobi. It's in, sub-Saharan Africa. And as I said, I was a flight attendant. I retired from being an international flight attendant. I've been just about in every country, a lot of countries in the world. I've been on every continent. So for me to sign up and to have happiness about it, it was kind of odd, because I'm kind of a cynical traveler somewhat. I have been in the past. Up until now, let's say I have been. So first thing, yes, I'm going. So that for me was also self-love, like, yes, I'm going to treat myself to something. And also the prosperity part of it was the amount it cost. At the moment that I signed up, I had no idea where that money was coming from. I had no idea where that money was coming from. And bit by bit, little by little, money poured into me from unexpected places. Even one of my cousins called me one day and said, I've been thinking about you, and I got some money, and so I want to give you some. I want to give you $500. Yeah. And so that part, so the self-love part, okay. Then the gratitude part. I was just grateful to sign up. I was grateful to be able to go. I was grateful to, I've been to other parts of Africa, but I was grateful to go to sub-Saharan Africa. Then the self-love, gratitude, trust, and faith. When I said within myself, when Spirit spoke with me and said, you are going, I had trust and faith. Yes, I'm going. And I'm having a splendiferous, fantastic time. And the other thing, the other part of these tenets is that any forgiveness I had, any thinking that was put into me with love by my parents, they wanted me to be safe. They taught me these are the parameters for your life as the girl you are in the 50s. I could forgive that because I could forgive that they were only bringing to me that was brought to them because they were children in the 20s. So I was able to be in a place of forgiveness as I signed up for it all. And lo and behold, what happened? I signed up in May. What happened after I signed up in January, the leaders of this conference sent me an email and said, we have been praying on it, Reverend Verona, and it has come to us that we need you to be one of our presenters. Yeah. So this is the way all these four things all came together. It keeps me in awe. It makes me know that what we call miracles are everyday happenings. So the question is, who am I to say no? And not so much who am I to say no, who am I to say? And the answer to that could possibly be, who am I to say yes? Yes, Spirit. Yes, I am Spirit's living enterprise. Yes, I am prosperity and affluence and wealth, walking, talking, breathing, and being. Yes, it is within me. It is incumbent upon me. It is the truth of who and what I am. And as I said before, what Ernie says, God can only do for us what God can do through us. So my challenge for you today, I have a challenge, of course. My challenge for you today is to allow that question to rumble around inside you. Who am I to? Who am I to? Who am I to? And to know that self-love, forgiveness, faith and trust, and gratitude are waiting inside you, waiting right inside the heart of the divine within, through, and as you, to come forth, to come out, to be the verbs of the life of spirit that leads itself in, through, and as each one of us. Let's pray. I invite you to just take a deep breath. I am so grateful. I am so grateful to know that there is one life, one presence, one substance, one power. The oneness and the allness of the galaxies, the planets, the universe, the cosmos, and so much more. How grateful I am to know that this presence is never an absence, that this presence is omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscience itself, and so much more. That this presence is the allness and the isness of all that ever was, ever is, and ever will be. And that this presence, which is the circle with no circumference, this presence that is the creator and the creation, adores itself, cherishes itself, loves itself, and expresses and radiates itself in, through, and as me, and in, through, and as each one of us here. Knowing that there is only one of us here, the oneness of the divine. How wonderful it is to know this. How glorious it is to remember and to recognize that spirit itself, life itself, expresses in, through, and as each one of us. And so I joyously now speak the word, and I declare and know right here and right now that each one of us is the passion and the patience of spirit. That each one of us uses our incarnation certificate for the highest and the greatest and the best in, through, and as us. For I know right here and right now, I declare it, I claim it, and name it, and I demand its demonstration of the universe, that the affluence, the wealth, the prosperity, the grandness, and the gloriousness of the divine expresses in, through, and as each one of us, in ease, in fluidity, in effortlessness, in flexibility, and so much more. And I also speak a word for our world, knowing that our world is the sum total of the consciousness of each and every one of us. So I declare and know peace, love, compassion, joy, wealth, and so much more, knowing these are the God qualities that make themselves known in, through, and as each one of us, individually and collectively. And anywhere on the planet where there appears to not be peace, where there appears to not be love, I declare and know that in the midst of it all, Spirit is, in all of its glory, and all of its goodness, and all of its power, and all of its knowingness, and so much more. And so I give thanks. I give thanks for the words spoken here. I give thanks for our co-creation play date in spirit that is happening in this very moment. I give thanks for it all because I know it is all in the realm of infinite, ceaseless possibility. I give thanks. I let it be. I surrender it into the law that always says, yes. I surrender it. I let it go. I let it be. And so it is. Amen.
I walk in God in all